almost forgot. One of you was asking me what lockdown is, if we are out of lockdown in the UK. Half of the country, well, we are all out of lockdown. Yes, we're all out as of yesterday. But half of the country is in lockdown still, in a sense, in that the shops are open, we can go shopping, but we still can't go and see family, and we still can't go to restaurants. All the restaurants and pubs are closed. We can't socialise outside, we can't socialise inside. I think we can go out for a walk or whatever, but we still have to be careful what we're doing because the COVID numbers are still high. Again, it's not because the COVID numbers are high and we can't manage, it's that the hospitals can't manage. If the numbers increase, the nurses and the doctors can't cope. So yes, we're out of lockdown, and unfortunately our area, I'll show you. This band across here is all on restriction, and that area there, some areas are out of restriction, but quite a lot aren't. So, yeah. C'est la vie. I've just bought a new jumper. It's a bit creased, but look what it's like when it's on. It's got grey sleeves. It's got pockets. And I got it on Amazon. I'm spending a lot at the moment, but I'm not doing anything at Christmas, so I'm treating myself to all these early Christmas presents. Hello everybody, it's me again. December the 3rd. It is Thursday, December the 3rd, and his lordship has gone away, as I've told you, he's looking after the granddaughter. I have had a lot of parcels, not because he's away, but a lot of parcels have come. One of them is this, which I've just told you about, this jumper, which I absolutely love. It cost £13. I know I could make it myself, but at the moment I'm not in the mood for making much, and I just figured I needed some more jumpers, and I saw this and I thought it was £13. I'm not going to complain about that. Ordered it on Tuesday, I ordered it yesterday, got it today, and that's another thing. Can't, you know, the speed of it. So we're very fortunate because this third one has come, the third advent calendar. But before, which one shall I do first? I've got 3 days to catch up on this one. It's not really, I haven't really had a look at it, to be honest. It's slightly bent. They put it in a big box. It came in a big box, but it was curved round like that. I don't want to bend it again to show you, but it's basically a map of England. I'm not overly sure what it does, but we'll find out. I'm going to do that one last, I think. The sewing one. I think we need some light on here. There, that's better. Let's look at the hemline sewing one, number 3, and now I've sussed it out. 1, 2, 3, we're on this one. And number 3 is, I'll let you see first before I do. Da 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 da. It's not working. Let's try again. Da 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 da. What does that say? John O, photographer. Oh, tomato pin cushion. I've got one of these already. I think I'm going to bundle all these up together, and maybe when I come to getting 10,000 subscribers, which I've still got a long way to go, I think I'll give a little box full of these things to somebody as a little present. Last time I got this, I didn't know what that was for. I was informed it's full of sand and it's for sharpening your pins and your needles. Didn't know that. Very good. So that's number 3. And now for the L'Occitane. L'Occitane en Provence. In Provence, which is a nice area of France. Made by a French company. Find out more about our commitments on L'Occitane.com. We're on to number 3 now. Where is number 3? Let's have a look. It's not easy to see these numbers on here. Oh, there's number 3. This one down here. So I'll try and cut the door open. same as the last one, I think. Haven't I just had this one? Oh no, I haven't. This is one of my regulars. I use this all the time. Dry skin hand cream. That's better. Right, use this piece of felt. It is L'Occitane dry hand cream. Smells really nice. It's got a really, in fact well no, I'll not do it yet because I'll make everything greasy if I do. But I use a lot of hand cream, which funnily enough, two things, since with us being in lockdown, my hands have got, my nails have gone all ridged. I don't know if you can see that, but my nails are all ridged. And the skin on either side of my fingers are starting to dry down there. They're starting to harden. Now whether that's getting old or whether it's with being inside all the time and not getting out in fresh air as we would normally, I don't know. So anyway, that's L'Occitane hand cream. Yay! Now then, I was watching Joy this morning and she was telling people about my vlog, my Vlogmas vlog, and she says she's doing something about Sherlock, about a detective. Well, I think, I'm not sure, a lot of you in America don't know who Sherlock Holmes is. He thinks completely different to the normal detectives, and when the detectives are following this and this and this, Sherlock is thinking something else there and there. And of course they're putting it together and they're almost focusing it's going to be him. He's done the job, done it, he's killed it, he's done this. And Sherlock's thinking, no it isn't, you know, that didn't work. So for example, the very first one, when the man was lying dead on the floor and he had ink on his left hand and the blood in his right and he'd written it, the other detectives would have said, well, it's Mersh. He's killed him. But Sherlock was thinking, hold on a minute, he's got ink on his left hand, and so therefore he's left-handed, and so on. So Sherlock is a well-known figure in England, and there's been a really good BBC series called Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch, who plays the part of Sherlock, and he lives with his friend, with a major. And the major is a doctor, and he always tells the doctor that that he knows the answers, but he doesn't tell you right until the end. So this one is called, what's the one I was doing? This one is called Cut Down in Their Prime. Three main characters. There's Lestrade, who is the detective who goes and questions everybody on murders. Then you have Dr. Watson, who is Sherlock's friend. And then you've got Sherlock, who is the super thinking man that often the detectives turn to when they want to solve a case. They're interviewing this Mr. Woodchuck and asking him about what's happened. Please, Mr. Woodchuck, tell us who you are and what precisely happened. Tell you again, Mr. Lestrade. The police at the crime scene already took my statement. Well, if I must, my name is Chuck Woodchuck. I own quite a few acres of land around here. A lot of it's woodland, mixed woodland. For the most part, willows and poplars, and a few conifers here and there. Every year, the townies swarmed out the country and fell Christmas trees for free in my woods. They take them back home and they put them up in their living rooms, decorated with tinsel and lights. It's not allowed. Well, tinsel is, obviously, but cutting down the trees, it's not. I spend a fair bit of time in the run-up to Christmas trying to scare those tree thieves off, if I can. So there I am, walking through the scrubs, when suddenly I hear crack, a loud noise and a scream. Ah! Some rustling and then silence. I ran straight over to where the noise came from. A spruce tree, 12 foot tall, had just been felled by a dabbler. He must have kept on chewing his act in a straight line until the whole tree fell on his head. The thief was felled too, like the Wicked Witch of the East in The Wizard of Oz. Only his legs were poking out beneath the twigs and branches. I shook a shoe, but there was no reaction. The poor fellow was dead as a doornail. I headed back to my car as fast as I could, and onto the next telephone box to call a doctor. The fire brigade came too, to lift away the trunk of the tree. Hit right across the head he was, didn't have a hope. Did you notice any kind of manipulation on this particular tree during your previous patrols through the woods? Said Lestrade. Had it been sawn into at all? Our evidence suggests that it was tampered with. There are older marks on the trunk, not made with the victim's axe, smallish, semicircular, cut into the stem. Of course, there's plenty of beavers around here. The poor fellow must have chosen a tree that had been attacked by beavers when it all fell down all of a sudden. He was taken by surprise and that was the end of him. Mr. Woodchuck, I can't see why, but I don't believe a word you're saying. Things won't remain unclear much longer. I know someone who can shed light on this issue. Watson's talking to, so Lestrade has told Watson, who has passed the information on to Watson and Sherlock. This is Sherlock talking. What do you make of this statement, Watson? Our friend Lestrade has sent us to check. He suspects a crime but can't put his finger on it. I can't see anything to incriminate Mr. Woodchuck, said Watson. Which is precisely why you were a doctor and I am a detective. The man is a landowner, but he doesn't have a clue about biology and has failed to cover up his crime. Are you going to deduce the course of events on the basis of a couple of trees, said Watson. On the basis of trees and beavers, said Sherlock. You never fail to surprise me. How do you do it, said Watson. So who do you think killed the man? You'll find out at the end of this vlog. Right, so we've got one left, and this is British Isles at Christmas. So let me have 5 minutes look and see what I'm supposed to be doing with it. So I have a map of the British Isles, and this is very handy for you lot in America. I keep looking, and we should have one. Someone over the water should have a map of America doing the same thing so that we know exactly where your states are. I've spent a lot of time during your election finding out which state is which and finding out what's been going on. But the Commoner Garden people in England don't necessarily know what the state is or where it is. We know where California is, and we know where Florida is, and we know where Washington State is. But other ones we don't know. But anyway, this is so to educate you and anyone else who doesn't know what places can be found in the UK. So number one is, these are what's on here are famous places or well-known places in the UK. So the first one is number one, and number one is there, right down on the foot of England, and this is where everybody likes to go to for holidays. It's always hot, and it's Cornwall and Devon. It's always hot here, and people love going. But the roads, some of you think the roads that I drive along are very narrow. The roads there are incredibly narrow, and everybody's heading down from all over England to get there, and the roads are so narrow. It's quite scary. So, and that was where we went to a couple of Christmases ago. We went to Devon down here. So this is, don't know if you can see it, if I can cover it like that. These are people, a family together. And it says, this it's a research centre that was completed in May 2000. Its characteristic domes provide diverse growing conditions for thousands of plants on display. So that is the Eden Project. And the Eden Project is found down there in Devon and Cornwall. Well, it's in Devon, I think. It's in Devon. I'm not sure if it's Devon or Cornwall. That's bad for me. I'll have to find out. I'll put a little thing up there to say whether it's Devon or Cornwall. So number 1 was the Eden Project. Eden, like the Garden of Eden. And it's a dome where they've got thousands and thousands of plants that they're growing under. I've never been. I would love to go. Number 2. Number 2 is... Well, I can't find number 2. 19, 21, 8, 6, 3, 15, 8. Number 2. We've lost number 2. What's number 2? Oh, must be up in Scotland somewhere. Oh, there. Number 2. Up here. And I have been to these Kyles of Butte. These are called the Kyles. These little fingers in England are called Kyles. Well, not in England, in Scotland are called Kyles. And these are it's a lovely, lovely place to visit. If you ever get the chance to go to Western Scotland, lovely. So number 2 is that one. So let me find number 2. Number 2 is Ben Nevis. Ben Nevis. And if you want to know what Ben Nevis is, it's a mountain. It's got a picture of what you've got here, Ben Nevis. And on the other side is someone skiing, because Ben Nevis is a mountain. And it is at 4,411 feet above sea level. Ben Nevis is the highest mountain in the British Isles. So we only have one high mountain. We've got some of the high places in Wales and in Western England and Cumbria. But Ben Nevis is the highest mountain in British Isles. The remains of an observatory can be found at its summit. So that's where Ben Nevis is, up in Scotland. Number 3, and after this we're going to stop because the next one's going to be tomorrow. Number 3 is in Southern Ireland. Now there's Ireland, Northern Ireland. That actually belongs to the whole of this. When we say the British Isles consist of Scotland, England and Northern Ireland, and this is Southern Ireland. And number 3, let's find where number 3 is. Number 3 is a castle. This is a castle and it's called, now I've never been here, I was just saying to His Lordship I'd love to go to Southern Ireland or Northern Ireland, both of them, Blarney Castle. And the thing about Blarney Castle is you go to Blarney Castle to kiss the Blarney Stone. I've never done that, but that's Southern Ireland, and it says Blarney Castle is the home of the Blarney Stone, a block of limestone set into the battlements. According to legend, if someone kisses the stone, it gives them the gift of the gab. That means they can talk well. You think I'd kiss the Blarney Stone. The ability to speak confidently and to convince people. Am I a confident speaker and can I convince you? So I haven't been to the Blarney Stone, but maybe I've been kissing a one in England somewhere. So that one is Blarney Castle with the Blarney Stone. I will put some pictures up here as I'm talking because I'm sure you'll find it quite interesting. So that is the British Isles so far. Number 4 is... Where's number 4? Oh, number 4 is where we went to for our summer holiday there. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but those of you in England might know. So we'll leave this till tomorrow. And so, I'm now going to give... yesterday's Sherlock Holmes, I just put up the answer because it was quite long and I didn't have much time. I wanted to get it uplisted, the vlog uplisted, and I didn't want to stop up till 2 o'clock. and not that I mind staying up till 2 o'clock, to be honest. I'm a late nighter. Couple of things. Hazel noticed yesterday that I had 2 different odd earrings on. I purposely had 2 because I've lost the other 2. I had one with one, and they were both very similar, but because I've lost their matching pair, I thought, oh, I'm going to put one on one and one on the other. So one was slightly longer than the other one, slightly different style. You are all making some fantastic comments to these the vlogs I'm putting on. I dearly love to answer you all, but there's so many that I'm getting, and I've got to get my own jobs done in the day that I don't always have time to answer. I do answer certain ones. For example, Helen was telling me that her doctor thought she had COVID and she had a cold and she was a bit worried about it. I do answer certain people, and I try to answer as many as I can. But if I've ignored you and I've just put a like and a heart, I have read it, and I've acknowledged what I've read, and I dearly love to answer you all, but I don't have the time. But Rindes Relic said I should work for Audible and read to them. Can I just say that when I used to teach, I was a qualified biology teacher, but I ended up teaching English, and there were short staff for English, and they asked me if I'd take the English, some of the lower groups, and so I ended up teaching English. And it was really funny because the kids had a library period, and we were reading a book, and I can't remember, it was an American book. It was about racism. I can't remember what it was, and I was trying to get the kids to read. I was going around and asking John to read, and Peter to read, and Sally to read, and so on. And then I said, right, I'll do a little piece as well. So I said, so you don't all feel uncomfortable, I'll do some as well. And I was putting on the American accent, and as I was putting on the American accent, the kids all turned, and when I started saying, right, Peter, you read, or Jamie, you read, they all turned around and said, Miss, can you carry on reading, because we're enjoying it when you read. So yeah, I like putting on the accents. I remember when I was at college, there used to be my cleaner was a Nottingham lady, and she was called Reenie, and she used to say, Micheline, do you want your room cleaned? I used to say, Reenie, I'd love you to clean my room. Right, so this, have you sussed out who it was that killed them, and have you sussed out why? Was it the beavers, or was it Mr. Woodchuck, or was it someone else? Well, I shall tell you. Watson says to Holmes, I'll repeat what he said, you never fail to surprise me. How do you do it? I can tell you that a beaver will always choose a broadleaf tree over a conifer, given the choice. According to the culprit, as we should call the suspect from now on, there are fewer conifers than other trees in his woods. Imagine entering a restaurant where the menu offers a choice between sausages and a juicy rump steak with rosemary potatoes. Would you choose the sausages? Of course not, said Watson. There you have it. A beaver will chew poplars, etc., if it can. That's its rump steak, as it were. The landowner seems to be oblivious to that fact. Feeling angry because his trees were being stolen, he imitated the damage made by a beaver on some of his most beautiful conifers, the ones which were likely to be carried out the woods to become Christmas trees, using a specially adapted tool, a filed screwdriver perhaps. It was hard work. His intention was that as soon as an inexperienced tree feller started his work, the tree would fall too soon in an unpredictable direction and possibly hit the thief. It is possible that Mr. Chuckwood merely wanted to scare those wild wood collectors off, but there's an element of malice that's all too evident here. He may have been the damaged party whose trees were being stolen, but he will be facing a murder charge instead. So the murderer was Mr. Woodchuck. Catch you tomorrow with the next one.